Okay, is it audible now? So can you hear me now? Okay. Okay. Is it audible now? Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for your responses in the comment section. So today I am delighted to welcome you once again. I am Tosin Omotosho. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. I love the comment section. I love the energy. I love how we are responding. And I want us to keep that up into this session. So, as much as I'll be your instructor for today, I want us all to be involved because what I'll be sharing are things that you would, of course, understand. And then we'll be able to relate and have an awesome time here. Okay, so today I will be your instructor, and if we are meeting for the very first time, I'm delighted to host you today. And I am Tosin Omotosho. So let me do a little bit of introduction. And I'm a real estate and business lawyer of 15 years experience. So, okay, this is a mistake here. It's actually now 15 years. I have authored 3 books and I have a real estate masterclass that is a bestseller. So I lead the team as Caris Legal Practice. And Caris Legal Practice is a law firm based in Lagos, Nigeria. We are based in Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria, and we cater specifically to entrepreneurs and real estate. So we practice business and real estate. So I've been featured on Channels TV. I'm a legal content creator. So I know most of us probably came from my social media handles or my YouTube or my email list. So I reach on a weekly basis 10,000 people maximum, minimum. And our law firm, within setting it up 4 years ago, we have served over 80 clients and we currently have a 4.9 Google rating. So our name is Caris Legal Practice, and trust me, if you Google, you would find that. And I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm a mother of 2 children. I'm married with 2 children. Fantastic, fantastic. So why is this webinar very important? Now, real estate, we know there are different types of real estate. Like we do a lot of investment, and there are different investment vehicles that you can use to preserve wealth and to gain interest on your money. But real estate is a kind of asset that is different because it's fixed and it's immovable, right? So, what would you be getting at the end of this webinar? Now, in this webinar, I'll be breaking down how to own property. That's it. I'll be breaking it down. And also not just owning property, because it's not just about owning property, it's also about investing without losing your hard-earned money. So scams are really rife, scams are so prevalent, but there's a way to go about it that you don't have to lose your hard-earned money. So if this sounds like what you want to learn, then I urge you to relax, grab your pen and a paper. If you're using a digital note to take notes, make sure you do that. Make sure you eliminate all distractions. Trust me, the next 1 hour thereabouts that we would have here, I wouldn't want you to miss any aspect of what I'm going to be sharing, because you know how it is. It could be the little detail you would miss that will make all the difference in your real estate journey. So I would encourage you to dedicate this time and eliminate all distractions. Leave Facebook for a while. Yes, everything would be fine. In 1 hour, nothing bad is going to happen. All right. So just make sure you are focused. Make sure you're here fully. Okay. And you participate. So please, I will love us as I'm throwing us questions or asking for feedback. Please use the comment section freely to tell me your feedback, to tell me what if you're enjoying the session. And what we'll be doing is we will take all our session, all what we want to learn today first. And then when we're done, we will then take questions so that we can have a really seamless experience in today's webinar. So if you're excited, I want you to once again drop in the comment section your best emojis. So drop in your best emojis in the comment section and let me now show you what we'll be learning. I will be breaking it down. So I will be starting with how to start investing in properties now, because delay might be dangerous. So I want you to like start right away. Another thing you'll be learning is practical ways to set your real estate goals. And this is what has worked for me. And I've used it for a number of my clients and it has worked for them. And so I'm sharing practical, it's not something I read in a book, it's what I have seen work. Different types of real estate, identifying properties that will appreciate faster. Why do some properties appreciate faster than the others? We'll be looking at the factors that makes a property appreciate faster so that when next you get an opportunity to invest or to buy real estate, you'll be able to take a better decision. What's the mindset every investor needs? Now, you would agree with me that before we get something done, we put it in our mind first, isn't it? So when you saw the invitation to this webinar, you thought to yourself, okay, I want to be a part of this webinar. And then you took the steps. So the mind is very powerful. It's the same thing with investing. What's the mindset that you must have? Now, what are the common daily mistakes to avoid when you buy real estate? These are very common. But trust me, at the end of today, I'll be exposing those mistakes to you so that you won't fall into those traps again. And the 6 steps to buying real estate. You can see that today is going to be a power-packed session. So I love stories a lot. And I have a lot of stories that I'll be sharing, of course, with consent of the owners. And I'll share 2 quick stories before we start it, before we get right in. Now, the first is about a 67-year-old woman who gave me some advice about investment. And I am always fascinated whenever I meet older people. I love to learn from them because they have lived through life, they have seen a lot of things, and so there are a lot of lessons we can learn from them. We can learn what to do that has made them successful, and we can also learn what to avoid, the regrets they have. We can look at the actions they took that made them have regrets, and we can avoid it. And so she told me how, so she was working on a 9 to 5 whilst she was younger, and she said a mini supermarket, and she at that time should be like maybe 25 years ago. But because she was running a 9 to 5, she didn't have all the time. What's the word now? To monitor the business. Okay, she didn't have all the time to monitor. I'm sure you would totally relate. I'm sure you would totally relate. Even if you're not running a business and it is and in its infancy, you don't, the likelihood that business will be successful is very slim. And that's what happened. Now, our regret is not that she actually started that business with. She at that time and she just bought what's the word, one plot, and she had more than. Okay, please let me know if it's still breaking. And she said at that point she could buy a property for 2,500. She wasn't sure was going to work. She wished she had audio is breaking off. Is it better now? It's still breaking. So let me know, is it still breaking? Okay, so let me continue with the story. I think it's okay now. So I regret was not that she invested in the of money. At the time she had put that amount of money on a business that she wasn't sure it will work. She wished she had invested more in real estate because that land today is now the only plot of land that she has. She has built a house where she lives on it. she's built a shop that brings in money for her. And she said she wished she knew what she knows about. We should start investing as soon as we can. We shouldn't wait until we have the 100 where we have. So that's the first story. And the second story is actually of our. It had a very humble beginning, and then it was in West Africa. He wasn't so educated, but one thing that he knew to do was identifying real estate opportunities, and that's what he did. So he ran a quite successful stop the business. But and this is where it gets in freedom, meaning even though he wasn't working actively again, he still could pay all have to rely on him money for his expenses, for his life. It's real estate. And we have a very educated person. It's still breaking. Oh, okay. Okay, if it is breaking from your side, please check your network because it's not breaking here. So I have my team member who is listening with earpiece. What do they call it? So please, maybe if it is breaking from your side, check well again. All right. So what is instructive about these two stories? We have someone who is highly educated, who didn't unfortunately leverage real estate, and someone else who wasn't so educated but leveraged real estate to be financially free. And so the elderly man passed recently, and until he passed, he was financially free. Now that's instructive, all right? That is instructive, and that is I know that a lot of people would say, okay, this is what this there are real life lessons to be learned from these two people. Fantastic. So let's get started. And the reason why I told you that story is that so you real estate rarely depreciates in value. It one, I don't think I've heard of any instance where the only thing might be that it might not appreciate as fast as maybe some other places, but it's coming down in value is very rare. It's very rare. So how to start investing with what you have now? Now the thing about real estate is a lot of people wait until they can start from Banana Island. And there's a book that I have on real estate. It's authored by Udo Okonjo. She's a lawyer and she's into the luxury real estate industry. And in that book, are a lot of stories. And very instructive is the story of Ibukun Awoshika, how she started her real estate journey with I think she talked about buying a property in 2014 thereabout for 5.4 million, and within 4 years she was able to sell the property more than times 200%. I'm really trying to remember the figure now, but it's really astronomical, like you almost cannot believe it. Now the thing is, she didn't start from Banana. She didn't start from Lekki. She bought the property then when Chevron. So if you're familiar with Lagos, you will know the Lekki Ekpe axis is the new Lagos. And at that time when she bought that property, that Chevron style was still like the outskirts. But she bought it. And it was interesting that just starting with that, by the time it was 5 years after she needed capital for her business, she was able to leverage that property to get capital for our business. All right. Now, the thing is, if you have funds that you want to use for your real estate, name it your real estate fund and start adding more to it. That is how to start. Even if you feel, okay, this money is not enough to buy land anywhere. But what I found is that when you have cash or money with you and that money doesn't have a name, is not tied to anything, the likelihood is going to disappear is very high. Please, if you agree with me, let me know in the comment section. So if I get some money today and I don't already have a plan for it before it comes into my hands, what I've discovered is that it's likely the money will just, like, different things will carry the money and go. Like, literally, different expenses will just keep popping up. But when I say, okay, I have a goal, this is going to be my real estate fund, it's easier for me. That's one thing you need to start doing in 2023. So if you already have funds, name it your real estate fund. You could get a separate account for it and then start adding more funds to that funds. Don't make the mistake of procrastination. Don't make the mistake of perfection. Like, I remember a story that my husband told me about someone who he knew who wanted to buy a property, and he always said then that I'm going to buy property in Banana. I'm going to buy property in Banana. So it's not actually in Lagos, but I'm just using that as an example. So we know Banana Island and I think Osborne Foreshore are some of the most expensive places to buy properties in Lagos. But he didn't have the money for Banana Island, and he didn't start from where he had money for. And unfortunately, I wished the story ended well, but it didn't, because till he passed, he didn't own any property. So start. That's it. And your first property is not going to be your best property. So you just have to accept that. But as you get on the property ladder, the more you acquire properties, it becomes easier for you. Planning and setting your goals and meeting it relatively becomes easier for you. So I can see someone asking, what's the title of the book? Okay, let me remember now. It's okay, Real Women Invest in Real Estate. Let me type that. Okay, so I can see a question here. So this is what we are going to do. Juan Ojeigbe, what would happen is when we are done, when I run through all the slides, we will take our questions. So I don't want us to start halfway. So I don't want to start halfway and then we take a question and then we go back. It's going to stop the train of thought, and it's not going to make it a very seamless experience. All right. So we will take questions at the end of the session. So stay with me. All right. So that's the title of the book. It's called Real Women Invest in Real Estate. Let me put it up on the screen. And I would encourage you to do, although it's for women, it's actually helpful for both men and women. That's it. So how do you start with what you have? Number one, have a fund. Start saving up to invest. Number two is pulling your resources together. And this is something that Madam Ibukwa Woshika talks about a lot. So I remember reading a story of, like, was it 100 women in Kenya who had come together to build a, was it 50 flats? Like, it was very outrageous property. Like, I think it was like 50 flats. And they said they started with just small money. Imagine just them doing, what they call ajo in in our local language. So when you come together and you pull funds, so 1,000, maybe let's say 10,000 naira, 50 people. That's how much? My math is not so good, so please help me. So when you look at 10,000 naira on its own, it cannot do much. But 10,000 in 50 places, 10,000 in 100 places, 10,000 in 200 places, it's a lot of money. So pulling resources together is one way to start with what you have. Of course, you have to be sure that you have the same goal. So don't just go and meet some people and then you put resources together to invest. You have to talk it through. What are you investing in? What is the long term? What's the short term? Are you going to sell? Are you going to rent? Blah blah blah. All the stories are very important. Co-investing is also one way you can invest in real estate, starting with what you have. Cooperatives. Now I know cooperatives, a lot of our parents did this when we were much younger. So you have cooperatives that will loan you money to buy real estate. Cooperatives would pull resources together, they will buy plots of land and then they will share it among themselves. All right. Fractional real estate, that's when you buy a unit in real estate. So there's a community I belong to. So what we did was we bought a flat, and the person who organized it, okay, it's not a person, we're actually a group of people, but let's say the value of the property is I think it's like 70 million. So you divide it into 70 pieces, that's 1 million naira. All right. So then fractional, you take a share. It's like take a pizza. When you take a slice of pizza out of a big pan, when everybody puts together the pizza, it makes a full pan of pizza. Then there's the real estate investment trust. This is relatively new in Nigeria, but I just had to include this so that we can also know that that's possible. So we have REITs too. They are another way of investing with what you have. All right. So this is examples of real estate. We've got built property, we have bare land. Real estate can be residential, real estate can be commercial. All right. It's very important that you know the different types of real estate. So let's run along because it's going to be a really long day. Practical real estate goal setting. And this is how I tripled my real estate goals for last year. Why do you want to invest? In fact, this is the singular most important thing. When you want to set your real estate goals, like if you do not have a strong why, it's not going to happen. Because just like I said, when you have money, money is pulled in different directions. So you have cash, and a lot of things are coming that want that money. Your bills are there. All right, your bills are there. You have a lot of commitments. You have family commitments, you have personal commitments and everything. So you need to be able to articulate, why do you want to invest? Okay. And there was this quote that I saw online, and it totally resonates with me. Let me know if it resonates with you too. And it says that if you don't find a way, I think it was made by Warren Buffett, that if you don't find a way to make your money work for you in your sleep, you are going to have to work every day of your life. All right. Now, how can your money increase even while you're sleeping? It's through investing. So, for instance, you put your money in real estate. Maybe let's say you buy a plot of land and you decide you're going to flip it. So you want to hold it for a while and then sell it. So you buy a plot of land last year, it's 5 million, and maybe in the next 3 years is 8 million naira. So the value of the money has increased. You have to know why you want to invest. What is your driving factor? So a lot of people will say, I want to invest because of my children's education, so that when it's time when they grow older, these assets will be able to fund them in school. I don't want to, I want to retire at 40. I want to retire at 45. It could be your driving factor. A lot of things could. No one is going to be able to tell you this is why you should invest. It's going to be yours. So you have to look inwards and decide, why do I really want to invest? Write everything down. And let me share with you this interesting thing. So there's a man called Robert Allen, and he's a real estate guru. So I would encourage you to note his name down and ensure you read up about him when we are done in this class. But stay in the class, all right? Don't go anywhere. Just stay in the class. So Robert Allen is a real estate guru. He's authored books and he's taught a lot of people about real estate. And I saw a video where he talked about, if you make it a goal to own 2 properties every year, in 14 years you would have how many properties? 28. So 14 years. So I started earning as a lawyer 15 years ago. So if I had started my real estate journey, okay, let's say I didn't do 2 properties. Let's say I did 1 property a year, I would have 15 properties a year. So let that inspire you. And please, this doesn't now mean that you should start repenting and say, oh, I really wish I started earlier, blah blah. No, 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 no. That's not the essence of me giving you this analogy. It's just to spur us to action. So write your why and come up with a goal. So what do you want to buy? Okay, I'm going to be talking about the mindset an investor needs to have, because I have a lot of people come into my DM and they tell me some things and I know that they're not prepared yet, or the likelihood they're going to run into trouble with real estate is very high because of a particular mindset they have. So stay with me because it's very important you really get that. So write your why, come up with a goal, come up with an end date. All right. So I want to, so let me use someone as an example. If Naya Chizube wants to own Two houses in Lekki phase 1 by the end of 2023. So by December 31, 2023, Ifunaya is going to own two houses in Lekki phase 1. That's how to set a goal that would be specific. And then you will now break it down into daily, weekly, and monthly steps. So Ifunaya will start by looking out, doing a research to find out what's the price of a house in Lekki phase 1. What type of house do I want to buy? Do I want to buy an apartment? I want to buy a terrace. I want to buy semi-detached, fully detached. I want to buy land and then I'll build it by myself. Okay. You have to break everything down. It's very important. So now let us look at why some properties appreciate faster. If you if you recollect, when I told you that those two stories when I started, I talked about that man who, though wasn't educated, knew how to watch out for properties that would appreciate faster. Oh, I can see Funaya dancing in the comment section. Amazing, amazing. And it will happen. You would own properties this year because we are here to learn about that. So this man had an eye for just knowing which places. He didn't have to do his real estate journey and spend lots of money like that. Okay, so why some properties appreciate faster? Why would some areas appreciate faster than the others? And this is going to be a very practical session. I want us to be involved because I'll be asking us questions. Now, real estate, location, location, location. Type in the comment section location because I need you to let that sink. Location in real estate is everything. So as a personal investor, you want to buy real estate for yourself. Location is going to determine a lot of things. It's going to determine whether that property would appreciate faster than the others. All right. Location is very key. Thank you, Ifunaya. So everyone, type location. Thank you, peace. Okay, fantastic. I can see the comment section is buzzing and I am loving it. I am loving it. Awesome. All right. Location is very key. Now, what should you look out for in a location? Infrastructural development. When there's huge development going into a place, that place is going to boom. Okay, so let me give a personal example, and although it pains me, it pains me to talk about it, but this is a webinar that I want to be practical. So I'm not just talking over our head and telling us what I read in a book. I'm telling us what actually obtains. So about 7 years ago, I had an opportunity. I was offered opportunity to buy a land in Ibadan. Thank you. Please keep coming. Type location, location in the comment section. So I had this opportunity to buy a plot of land in Ibadan. It was just 350,000, and I had the money. But I don't know what happened. I didn't buy it. And do you know what? Within a year, the price of that property went up. It went as high as 3 million naira. Now ask me why. Why did that property appreciate so fast within such a short period of time? It was infrastructural development. So in that area, there was a proposed road. The government had marked out an area, that area. They were going to do a major road in that area. Although for a long time they didn't do that road, and the place was just left there. Within that 1 year, when I was to buy, and I didn't buy that property, the government came and did the road. So that major infrastructural development that happened there opened up the place, and that was why the price went up really fast. Really fast. So when you see huge infrastructural development going to a place, know that the value of properties in that area are going to appreciate. Let me also give us another example. When I was in law school, I remember coming to VGC. Then this road, the Lekki Ekpe Expressway road, it was just then they were um fixing the road, and it was very bad. The road was very bad. I remember that day. I think it was me and my friends. We spent the whole day. We spent like 3 hours going, and then we were coming back. So we spent maybe another 4 hours. But see what has happened in the Lekki Ekpe Expressway. It's one of the most the hot spots for properties in Lagos because of that infrastructural development. When the road was made, everywhere opened up, and that's what is happening in Bejuleki and now Ekpe. And if you've been conversant with the news, you will know that there's the proposed fourth mainland bridge has been approved. And what does that tell you? All the routes along where that road is going to go, is going to significantly appreciate. Although there's a caveat, please, if you're going to be buying in those areas, watch out and be sure you're not buying land that falls within the area that the government has acquired to do the road. Okay, it's very important. So another factor is government policy, and of course, it's very similar to the previous topic, um, the previous reason I gave earlier. So infrastructural development, government policy. Government drives a lot of infrastructural development. All right. Government drives a lot of infrastructural development. And when you see government policies being made, like when I talked about the government coming to do that road, and within 2 years the value went significantly more than is it like is that times what's the percent when property goes from 350 thousand naira to about 5 million? What's the percentage? Please help me, my maths is very good. Please help me with the calculations in the comment section. So government policy is something that makes real estate appreciate very fast. So watch out. When you, as an investor, you need to be conversant with what is happening. And that brings me to this next module that is very crucial: the mindset an investor has to have. Number one is you've got to be curious. So when you see that many people are going to a place, or some funny things happening in a place, you need to be curious. What is happening? Why is it all of a sudden we are hearing about Ekpe Ekpe? What is it about Ekpe? Go to Google and ask, why are properties in Ekpe now hot? Like, trust me, my people. Google is a life changer. Google, YouTube will give you a lot of information. So if you're going to go into real estate, I need you to maintain your curiosity. And of course, you being in this class today tells me that you are curious, you're hungry for knowledge. And it is fantastic, because you cannot, for instance, want to buy property in a place, even before you talk to a realtor who would start looking for the properties for you. You'd have a budget, right? You should have gone to check, okay, so I want to buy a house at Ikate. How much is a duplex at Ikate? How much is a semi-detached duplex? What's the price range? How much is a two-bedroom apartment for sale at Chevron? Okay, Google would help you. I want you to leave this class with the right mindset that an investor has, which is being curious and being knowledgeable. Get knowledge. Get knowledge. Knowledge will save you from a lot of headaches. So during the week, I was working on a client's brief. I and my team were working on a client's brief, and he wanted to buy a property. Thankfully, I had not yet bought, but he wanted to buy a property, and he had engaged us to do the due diligence on the property. So I would explain what due diligence means. And in the course of doing our due diligence, because he wanted to buy from someone, and the someone was buying and bought from a company. So, but the person, the someone who bought from a company, the documents he sent to us were not satisfactory. So I said, I will write to the company myself to get the true state of affairs. So, as this person bought from you, true, does he have legal ownership? And so we wrote, and then the company wrote us back, and we discovered that my client had paid the money, that just said bye bye to his money, and maybe we'll spend years in court retrieving the money back, because to even begin with, the person he wanted to buy from had not finished payment from that company, so he didn't have any land. So I was even telling my clients that the land you were shown, I don't understand, where did that person get the land? Because the company is telling us we've not allocated any plot of land to this person because payment hasn't been completed. So now, if you did not know that when you want to buy real estate, you engage professionals, you would have run into trouble. And I'm sure you're probably wondering, what is this on the slides to see? What does real estate and jollof rice have in common? So let me explain that to you. You know, when you want to cook jollof rice is a mix of many ingredients. So we have some major ingredients, we have some minor yet very important ingredients. It's the same with real estate. Real estate has multiple angles to it. So as a lawyer, what I share with you is the legal angle, the legality of real estate, the ownership, because ownership goes to legal. If you want to prove ownership of real estate, it's the court. It's from the court. So the documents, the oral evidence, everything. That's the legal side. The investment side of it, the financial side, the numbers. Okay, you have You need professionals when you do real estate. You need a lawyer, you need lawyers, you need surveyors, you need, we'll still get to that. So real estate is a mix of so many things, and it's important you note that. So I remember I mentioned a term few seconds ago, and I promised that I was going to explain what it means. So due diligence in real estate is you taking all the necessary steps when you want to buy real estate to ensure that the transaction you want to enter into is scam free, is legal. Like that, my client, he wanted to be sure that the person is buying from, he won't have legal issues after. And because he had engaged us to do that, that was how he was able to escape that landmine, literally. So due diligence is something that we all do. For instance, you want to buy a new laptop. I remember when I was wanted to buy my laptop, so I went online. I had a brand in mind, so I checked. Okay, and then I had some features that were a no-brainer for me. Like if I wanted to buy a laptop, they must have the features. So I checked online. So I had an idea. I just imputed the details, and I had an idea of okay, this is the price range of what I exactly need. That's due diligence. Okay, you want to take your children to a school, you ask around. Maybe you just moved into a new area, you ask your friends, you ask your neighbors, you go to the school, you look at how it looks like the environment. Is this somewhere you love your children to stay? You talk to the head teacher. You understand? That's due diligence. Due diligence is you trying to protect your interest in any transaction. And if you be successful in real estate and not lose your money, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so let me know how the session is going. Are you enjoying it? Is this worth your time? Now you would love this next module we are going into, but I would love to see your feedback in the comment section. So let me know how the session is coming through for you. Fantastic. I can see some things that are new. Awesome. Informative. Fantastic. Get merrier, informative, and more educated. Okay, so let's get started with module 4. 4 questions in our materials, and we are noting this because the essence of us attending this is to apply what we learn. Very, very important. So make sure you are taking notes. And trust me, if you've not been taking notes, please, you need to start taking notes now. Especially these 4 questions. Oh no, they are no brainers. All right. For any property until you've gotten an answer, right? Who owns this property? Because if someone doesn't own something, they can't give it to you, they can't sell it to you. I love you so much. I'm shipping my husband's phone to you tomorrow. Send me your address. I'm sure Peace is going to say no, so so the identity of the person who owns the property is very key. You have to be clear. Is it a family? Is it a company? Is it a community? Question you must ask, and you must get an answer. Okay? Now, it's not enough to ask this question. How did the owner get ownership? Remember, I talked about that our client who had bought property, who wanted to buy a property, right? He bought from a company. But when we reached out to the company, we found that he didn't buy from the company. So something he does not even own, he can't sell it to my client, isn't it? People collect funds from other people at gunpoint and then they go ahead and sell it. Now, when the person who bought it is caught, they're not going to say, your money has passed hands. The fact is that the person who sold to you, not the owner. So there was no way the person could have sold it to you. So you have to know the root of title. In law, we call it the root of title. You know, the root of a tree determines the fruit. So a mango tree, if it's a mango tree roots, a mango tree has its roots as a mango tree. It's not going to have its roots as a mango. Isn't that the case? Yes, so it's very important. So you need to know. So how did this person get ownership? Oh, or person or persons? Did they buy more others? All right. So this question you've got to be sure this is the owner or it's the owner, and this is how we got it. What's the proof? You know, in law, we lawyers are very big on evidence because when you go to court, the court is not going to give you judgments based on, oh, you cried so much, or the judge likes are very big. If someone tells you, "Oh, it's our family land. We inherited it from," you ask for the stories. Okay, so have you been selling some parts of this property? Okay, and it could be true oral evidence. It could be because so I've been involved in a lot of real estate cases, especially in this Lekki Ekpe axis. So my first 7, 8 years as a lawyer, I was practicing mainly as a litigation lawyer, and I had to go to court a couple of times, and not a couple of times. Actually, on the average, I was going to court like 3 times a week. And when these families have cases, maybe people want to grab their land. So we usually ask them, tell us, how did you own this now? We'll write their stories. They will tell us their stories, name of their forefather, how their forefather came. Maybe he was following the Atlantic Ocean. And then when he landed somewhere, he saw a place and then he set up a small hut. And then he started living there. He had wives, he had children. And then from there, you know. So that's oral evidence. Sometimes they don't have documents, okay, but they have oral evidence. So it could be through oral evidence, it could be through documents. Now another question to ask is the exact location of that property. And you would agree with me that with the story of my client that I talked about, the location that they took my client to now, because there's even no ownership anyway. So we didn't even have to go to the location to get a survey and pick the coordinates. But definitely, wherever they took him to was not what they wanted to sell to him, because the company that sold said, "We don't know this person. We've not allocated land to him at all." Okay, very important that you answer those 3 questions. All right. And if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you should subscribe, because every week I post easy to understand, interesting videos on real estate and business law. So now let us go to step by step to scam free real estate investing. Now, it is not just about buying property. Anybody can buy property. This is the dime and the dozen. Is it not just for them to tell you that there's one house there, come and pay money, and you pay money and you go? But that's not how it works. Remember, I said real estate is a peculiar kind of asset. So you cannot approach real estate like you approach every other type of real estate. So let's look at what is the step by step. This is a very practical one. What's the step by step? Decide on the property you want to invest in. So this year you decide, I want to look at areas that are coming up. I want to buy land for flipping. That could be what you want to decide. You want to invest this year. Like, you look at areas that you know that with what I've told you today, you're looking at, okay, the areas that would appreciate in the next 5 years, 10 years, I want to buy them and then I will hold them and then I will sell them. For another person, it could be, I want to buy a house, I want to furnish it and use it for shortlet. For another person, it could be, I want to buy a commercial property, or even I want to buy a land and then develop it. Okay, so like the options are really wide, and that's why it's important that this very step that you need to be sure about it. What location? Because when you start looking for property, you would have a location in mind. You cannot just want to say I want to buy land anywhere in Lagos State. It means your search is going to be broad, and that's why I talked about being curious about knowledge and being knowledgeable. Okay, so you decide on what location. The investment purpose. For what purpose? Why do I want to invest? Is it to just preserve my capital? Do I want to, instead of having cash in the bank, um take that cash, invest it in some lands, and some years after I would flip the land, or maybe I'll even decide what I want to do later, or maybe I will build on it. But you have to be sure. So it's in these things, that things that you need to decide on. Then budget is very key. So what's your budget like? I want to buy real estate. What's your budget? I'm sure if you have bought real estate before, you have used the services of realtors. That's one of the questions they would ask you. And actually, when people reach out to me and say, Tosin, can you connect me with realtors? These are the questions the realtors that will connect you to would ask you. Where do you want to buy property? And what's your budget? That's why you need to have done your own, what's the word now? You would have done your own research, so that you can be able to tell them, okay, this is my budget. Okay, I have 100 million. Okay, I have 10 million. I have 5 million. The type of property, because properties are of different types. It could be land, bare land. It could be you buying residential, commercial property, any type of property. So it's very important that you be clear on that. Okay. All right. Now, this is the second step. After you have decided on what you want to buy, it's now time to search for the property. And like, it's a good time to be alive. Like, who agrees with me? The internet offers you a rich, wide range of opportunities. Like, you can just go to Google, for instance, and search. YouTube is there, you can search. On Instagram, there are lots of realtors. So even though I'm not a realtor myself, I'm a lawyer and I handle the legal aspect. I've had a lot of people reach out to me to say, okay, I want to buy a property, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say, okay, I have some realtors I can refer you to. So the realtors are the matchmakers. Okay. The realtors are the matchmakers. You can use the internet. Fantastic. So that's how to do your search. Now, when you have done the search and you have found what you want to buy, this is the due diligence stage. Remember, I talked about due diligence earlier? So what are the things you would do? Now, if have you heard of this phrase before? Caveat emptor. If you've heard of it before, let me know in the comment section. You've heard of caveat emptor before, and it means buyer beware. So you are the one buying, it's your money, and so you should beware. That's what it means. And I remember one day passing by a house and seeing, this house is not for sale. This house is not for sale. Please beware of my son. Let me know in the comment section if you've heard something like, if you've seen rather something like that before. You have. Thank you, Mr. Akanubo Ibong. Okay. So because you're the one putting in your money, you're the one putting in your money that you have worked hard for. You deserve to put that money in an asset, an asset that will be safe, not an asset that will draw from you. Okay, scam free asset. And that's why, as a buyer, it is your own responsibility, make it your personal responsibility to check out, to do this due diligence on every property you want to buy. Every. So I was just browsing, and then I saw a popular actress come out with a caveat to say she was so sorry that the company that she had worked, what's the word now? Influenced for. I think a property company, they have many issues with many people. So, and that she's so sorry that she recommended them, blah blah blah. And really, what I thought was, well, even if an influencer recommends property to you, even if I tell you, okay, talk to this realtor and they will get a property, it doesn't stop you from following the due process. Okay. And what should you do? Number one is you need to physically inspect it. This is very important. There are a lot of things you will discover when you want to invest in you when you go to sites to see what you want to buy. Recently, like a client of mine wanted to buy a property and I linked them with a realtor. And when she got there, what she saw there was different from the pictures that she was shown. And she was like, no, this doesn't really fit into what I want. So they had to get her another property until she then found what she wanted. Now, if she didn't go there, it would have been difficult for her to be able to take that decision. All right. So a physical inspection, just keep on it. Then title investigation. And that title means ownership. You have to investigate that. This is something you cannot do on your own. Anyway, you need a lawyer to help you investigate that. Work with professionals. Don't DIY in real estate. So type in the comment section that real estate is not DIY. As a lawyer myself, for my real estate purchases, I work with other professionals. So what I can handle is the legal side. I still had a session with a real estate strategist last year. Okay, so it's very important that you get professional help. Now, after you have done this due diligence and everything ticks, usually when we do title investigation, that's checking the ownership and everything for our clients, would issue a report and would explain that, oh, this is what we found, and based on what we found, should you go ahead, shouldn't you go ahead, would expressly write that out in the report. All right. So if it is good to go, then you then go ahead and make the purchase. And at the purchase stage is where you make payment for the property, where the documents to transfer ownership to you, they are drafted by your lawyer and they are signed by both parties. The witnesses will sign. The lawyer will put his or her seal. On my YouTube channel, I have a detailed video on this particular stage, so you should subscribe to my YouTube channel, and definitely when you're done you should look at the videos I have. I don't want to go too deep into that, but that video explains everything. All right. And then you take possession. Possession is you being in physical occupation of property, so that's like the easiest way to describe it. And when you buy a house, it's really easy. They're giving the keys, right? So I would tell my clients and say, change the locks, just so that in case someone was holding an extra key, just maybe. All right. If it is bare land and maybe you bought the land and you're not developing immediately, you bought it to flip it or you just want to hold it for a while, then you want to do a short do a fence around it. If you can find someone, if it's land that can be farmed, get someone to be farming on it. But by all means, don't just leave the land just like that. So take possession of the land. If you can build a small gatehouse, build. If you buy within an estate, it makes it easier, because of course it's not easy for just anybody to get access to the land. But once you've been allocated your own plot of land, try and do a fence if you are not developing immediately. So now the fifth is perfecting and registering your title. And anywhere you see me talk about title, I'm talking about ownership. Okay? So perfecting your title and registering it means if that property you're buying had a certificate of occupancy as at the time you bought it, so what you'd apply for would be governor's consent to your deed of assignment. So when you buy property, the documents that will transfer ownership to you will be a deed of assignment. So sometimes we have some people call it deed of conveyance. It still serves the same purpose. Although I personally prefer deed of assignment. But whichever one, when you work with your lawyer, they'll be able to put you through that. So you get governor's consent if there's a C of O. But if it is a land that doesn't have a C of O on it before, then you will be applying for a certificate of occupancy. And what that means is that your ownership is registered at the lands registry in that state, and it gives you a lot of protection. Number one. Number two, it significantly increases the value of your property. Okay. Now, when we filled the form to come into this class, because I already had like an outline of what I wanted to teach. But remember, I added there that what would you like to also learn about? And from what the answers I got, I had to add more to what I was going to teach today. Okay, so that is why we are having a lot to learn. But trust me, you need everything. You need everything. And if you remember, I said real estate, you can't DIY real estate. So I want us to type it in the comment section like I cannot I cannot DIY real estate. And DIY means do it yourself. Okay? So I'm typing that now. And of course, I would love us to all type it because it's something we need to take note of and make sure that it sinks. You can't DIY real estate because you need professionals. So let's look at who are these professionals that you need. Realtors. Realtors will match make that the first point of call. You want to buy property, you're talking to a realtor first. The realtor match makes you with the property. A realtor would ideally have sufficient information. So, for instance, when you talk to a realtor and you say, "Okay, I want to buy real estate," I mean, if you're working with really very intelligent and smart realtors like the one that I work with, they would ask you for what purpose, so they can advise you. Okay, because you might think, okay, maybe this location would work for what I want, but they might be able to give you much more helpful advice. So the realtor is the matchmaker; they matchmake you with the property. All right. Fantastic. I can see us in the comment section. I can't DIY real estate. Important. Thank you. An experienced property lawyer, that goes without saying because the legal side of real estate is something you can't DIY. You can't interpret documents yourself. So even if people say, "Oh, it's not just a search you're doing," no. So this case that I talked about, we did a search because they had sent us the C of O. The search the C of O existed, but there was no link. So like I wrote in the report when I sent to my client, and my client was like, madam, please, you said there's no link. And then I explained to him. So there's a C of O, but there's no link to this property you want to buy. And even the property you want to buy on the paper and what you want to check, what you want to check physically, like we can't sync it. We can't find any link. All right. So an experienced property lawyer is someone you need on your team when you're doing real estate. A surveyor is very important because location, remember what I said about location. We've had instances where people buy real estate and the documents that they are given is actually different from the land on ground. Like that's shocking, right? Yes. And if you don't have a surveyor, you would just miss that out. So that's why you need these professionals. There are a lot more professionals, but these three are like the first three. For instance, if you're building, you need the engineers, you need quantity surveyors, structural engineers, and architects. All right, so very important. Make sure you engage professionals when you are buying real estate. So, what are the common mistakes to avoid? Because trust me, a lot of people have lost money because they did some mistakes in real estate. Now the first thing is not following due process. By now, I know you already have an idea of the due process, right? Let me know in the comment section. Do you have an idea of the due process? Because we've talked about step by step, but I need to be sure. You've got to follow this due process. Everything I stated here, follow them to the letter. All right. So what mistake people make is they don't follow due process. So maybe they buy real estate before they then discover that the location they bought maybe is right in the middle of an acquired property. Like that has happened a lot of time. Or they bought from the wrong people. There's a particular story that when I was practicing, when I mean practice, I mean litigation. When I used to do a lot of litigation, there was a family that has land, and someone had bought land from the family, but he didn't buy from the accredited representatives of the family. So the person he bought from, he just wasted his money because when the real family people now got to know, he had to pay another money. All right, so that was a really huge mistake on his part, and it cost him a lot of money. So in that situation, what you should have done before making payments, when you're buying property from a family, be sure you are dealing with the family. Ask around, who are the accredited representatives? The family would usually have appointed some people and say, you will take decisions on our behalf. Those are the people you would deal with. Don't just deal with, if it belongs to a family is not one person. It's usually a group of people. All right. Another thing is not starting your real estate journey on time. So like the story I talked about, unfortunately, the man didn't own any property until he passed because he wanted to start big. But really, is there anything in life that we start from the top? No. When we started walking, you walk, you fall. You second time you crawl, you start holding things, and then you start walking, and then you start running. It's the same thing. Talk to anyone who owns real estate. This remember this the book I talked about, the Mrs. Udo Okonjo talked about how the first property she bought, she lost it. Did that stop her from acquiring real estate? No. She's gone on to acquire luxury, much more real estate after that. But if she didn't start early and then she did that only that one and she got discouraged, maybe she wouldn't have built the beautiful and highly rated real estate company that she has today. Okay, so it's very important that you start on time. Don't wait for perfection. Now, ignorance about the peculiarities of real estate investing. Of course, by now you've been in this class, and for those who are watching the replay, you're watching the replay, and you're not ignorant anymore, isn't it? You know a lot about what to do and what not to do. Now, not seeking professional help. Hmm, it's crucial you get professional help. Like I had said, all those professionals I talked about, you need them because you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm not a realtor. And although I have knowledge of real estate, I read up a lot and I have a lot of people at that I ask questions and consult. It doesn't mean that I'll then do the job of a realtor. I'll do the job of a surveyor. I'm a lawyer, and that's about it. Now it's 2023. What should you do? I mean, and this is a beautiful time. People are setting goals. It's a time when we're planning for the year. The first thing is get enough knowledge. Very important. Remember what I talked about using Google? So when you finish this class, you want to go and do some research by yourself and say, um, I want to buy a house. I want to buy land here. I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay. Get enough knowledge. Follow the process to the letter. And that's why I told us to make sure that we jotted when we started this class. But if you didn't jot, you can still go over it and jot. Now, set your goals. Very important. Setting your goals, I can tell you that it works. It works. Get an accountability partner. So let me tell us a real life story. I'm about 4 or 5 years back. I needed to write a book. Remember, I've authored 3 books. So I knew I needed to write this book. But for more than 1.5 years, I did not write the book. But you know what happened? I just saw this ad on Instagram that day, and someone was running a challenge that writes your book in 1 month. I'm like, okay, since this 1.5 years I've been wanting to write the book, and I really know I need to write the book, but I have not started writing. I think I should join the challenge. And so I joined the challenge, and I wrote a book in less than 1 month. And this is a book I'd wanted to write for 1.5 years. That's the power of accountability, having people you're accountable to, and belonging to a community that wants to do the same thing that you're looking at. So this year, I'll be an accountability partner to a few people to achieve their real estate goals. So if this year you want to own a property, then you should stay with me because this is what we'll be doing. We'll be setting your goals and we'll be achieving them. And the accountability is going to be very thorough. Trust me. I'll be on your neck. Now, not just accountability, we are going to be having webinars. So there's a whole lot we have covered in today's webinar that we will still dive into and talk about in details. All right. And it would be fast. We'll be having webinars, will be facilitated by not just me. I'll be having other real estate professionals come on board to educate us and so that this owning a property in 2023 is a reality. So it's a challenge and it's called Own a Property in 2023 Challenge. Now, let me know if this sounds like what you want to be a part of. Just type in the comment section, this sounds interesting. I want to be a part of this. Now, see the beautiful flyer for the challenge. So it's I'm going to be helping you own at least one property. And my inspiration for doing this was Robert Allen's video that I watched. So if you had been here from the beginning, I talked about Robert Allen talking about owning two properties a year. But I said instead of two properties, at least one property. So we're having a challenge and it's going to run for a whole year. And what you'll be getting will be webinars, educative webinars on step by step to invest in real estate, a strong accountability and support group. And I am very big on this strong accountability. Like I'm very big. If you don't want to be accountable, please don't join, okay? Webinars with me and other seasoned real estate professionals, and I'll be checking up on you monthly. So I'll be on your WhatsApp, I'll be your email. We'll have worksheets, we'll have templates to help us achieve our real estate goals. So I can see already people saying, oh, this sounds interesting, I want to be a part of it. So I'm posting in the comment section so you can join the wait list. And it would be this the wait list is for you to get notified once they get started. So sometimes this week you would once you enter your details on that wait list, you will get the an email, and also on WhatsApp will send you the details of the challenge, and then you can even ask me questions about the challenge. But it's just for a few people. I won't be taking so many people because I don't want it to be a really large group like that, because we need the one-on-one interaction, and it will be for a fee. So I've had already 46 people who have joined the waitlist, and payments would open this Thursday. So if you check the comment section, there's a comment there that starts with form.office that I just posted now. So if you click on that form, you will be able to get on the waitlist so that when it opens. So if you click on that form, you will be able to get on the waiting list so that when it opens, so if you click on that. Sorry about that. So when you click on that form, when the challenge opens, when payments opens, okay, and the payment will open this Thursday, yes. When payment opens, you can be part of that, and it will be for just few people, just like I said. So check the comment section. I have pinned it. Okay. Now, another thing that I quickly, and remember, I will take your questions, all right? So if you have questions, please just start noting them. If you want to work with me, you see everything that we have learned today, and they're like, okay, Tosin, I want to work with you. I need to find a property in Lagos. I need you to do due diligence on the property I want to buy. I need documentation. I need legal advice. You can always reach out to me. So I'm sure that you all receive emails from me, right? So that same email, you can contact me through that email, or you can send an email to my email address, or contact me on this number. All right. So start getting your questions ready. Now, I remember talking about the fact that I have a masterclass, and it goes into details of acquiring scam-free properties. That due diligence, that's clause, that's what that masterclass is all about, and it's been taken by over 100 people. I think they're like 108 now. So 15 very important questions to ask. We talked about four. There are a lot more than that. What to do when you're buying from an individual, monile, company, communities, buying built property, buying land. How to know if the land is under ownership is transferred. Professionals you must engage. I talked about like 7 professionals. Yes, it's something that everyone. Remember why I talked about knowledge? You should masterclass, by the way. It's recorded by the masterclass. You can just be a part of it, and get into the masterclass and watch immediately. So that's the word, watch immediately. All right. So start getting ready your questions. Okay. So ESM, those who are saying that comment, Just click it, and I would suggest that you click it and maybe you leave it open and let's see the questions, because from the questions also you are going to be learning. And like I said at the beginning, I really don't want us to miss any part of this. So let me yes, how can we start the roof? Wumi Fagbero, thank you for your question. We can start saving. So that was the first thing we talked about when we started. I talked about how to start with what you have now. So have you can go like that's what I always advise people to do. Open an account that will be your for real estate investing. Open that account and name it your real estate fund. And like I said, that the only one that this happens to. That when you money is coming to your hand, but the money you've not put a name on it, you not have a purpose for that money. It's easy for that money to be pulled in different directions, isn't it? Please let me know in the comment section. It's very easy for that money to be put in different directions. So, but if you have decided I'm going to be investing my money, okay, I'm going to be investing, and you put it in an account, you don't collect the TM. That's another trick. And you're not, what's the word now? Okay, that's how to start. You can co-invest. I guess you were not here at the beginning because I actually answered that question. You can co-invest. You can have a group of people who you would agree together to buy real estate. Okay, but please, if you are doing co-investment, purpose is very important, because if you have plenty people, let's say for instance you come together with two people, you say let's buy a house, then after you bought the house someone says no, let's do lease is 3 years above. Someone says no, let's do rent short let, there's a problem. So these are the things you will discuss before you even start that kind of co-investing, and you'd have a very watertight contract between yourselves. Okay, so that's it. We had a lot of our parents who were not necessarily business owners, so it wasn't like maybe they would get lump sum often, but just saving a consistent part of their. Any more questions? So this is that's the link to the due diligence. Is the link to join the wait list for the session. You get your names on your documents when you are co-investing. You put it there now. It's the same. How do you different vehicles for co-investing? You can decide that you register a company. So you could decide that it will be a cooperative. So when you're co-investing, this is very important you have a lawyer to guide you on how to properly structure your business. All right. It's very, very important. Thank you, Oyalola Adela. Thank you for this insightful session. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Abasiama, for the review. So, John, this question: any real estate offer properties in an estate with title of registered survey, and they give a deed of assignment to buyers. Mm. Is the property is not registered. A survey shows location. That's a survey. If you've seen a survey before, it will say of property alleged. Is it alleged to they use that word, but it's not a they don't use an assertive mode to say this property belongs to so and so, because a survey just shows location and they give it. So John, please rephrase your question. I guess it got cut off. It's not complete. Any more questions? Because we'll be rounding up really soon. So how has this session been? Let me know in the comment section. How has the session been? So if you're buying property from a real estate company, you should investigate the title. You should investigate the title. Anybody you're buying, whether you're buying from a company, that's why that my due diligence class explores what to do when you're buying real estate from companies, from individuals, from moneyless, from communities. And there's registered title and unregistered title. I didn't touch on that today because we can't really talk about everything. All right. So I guess that will be all. Any more questions? Joanne, so I'm sure that you did not get what I said. You didn't get what I said. So I didn't say that only a COO can give a deed of assignment. So a deed of assignment means I'm transferring ownership of property. So if I own a property, I can give a deed of assignment. Okay. And it doesn't mean that if I don't have a COO, I don't own property. Remember what I talked about? You can buy property, you can inherit, it can be gifted to you. You might have registered a title that is registered, and you might have a title that is not registered. Okay. So you have to know the difference between the two, and that's why you should get my due diligence masterclass, and you will be able to know the difference between the two. And by the way, when you are when you're doing a transaction, you're buying property, you should ensure that you have a professional on board. Don't just they give you a deed of assignment and then you sign it. That can be risky. You want to have someone look at it, someone who is on who you engaged for that purpose. Because as a professional in a transaction, I can't represent the interests of both parties equally. I would tilt to one more than the other. All right. So that answers, I hope that answers your question. So yes, they can give a deed of assignment if they can prove that they are the owner of the property. That's it. So a deed of assignment is I own this property and I'm transferring my ownership to you. So I hope that answers your questions. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, this is the moment you should do that. Okay, just hit the subscribe button because you will find a lot of helpful videos on real estate investing on my channel, and I would actually encourage you to go through very helpful information. Like I can't even believe I'm giving that information out for free. So, any more questions as we round up? This is 6:18 p.m. and we've been here since 5 p.m. Ah, wow, awesome. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ebong. It's been helpful. Thank you. So, for those who will be watching the replay, make sure to click the pinned the pinned comment that has the forms. That's how you can get on the challenge. I would also I would also be writing us and sending us the form so we can be a part of that challenge. It is going to be an exciting one. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Subscribe to my channel, and if you have questions for those who watch the replay, just type them in the comment section to type your questions and I'll be glad to answer them. And to use our services, there's a link in the pinned comment and in the description box below for how you can contact us. So this has been an awesome time. Like I'm really, really happy to see us wait till the very end of this webinar. Thank you for joining in. How much is the challenge going to cost? So you'll be getting that when it's open. Once you fill the form, I have questions that I would ask. All right, thank you, and do enjoy your day and have a fruitful and productive week ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.